TSF Entertainment.
Yo, and welcome back to TSF Entertainment. It's none other than DJ Fresh, your highness, with my co-host Jack the Jordans, and we are back to bring you BMF episode 5. See it, touch it, mixtape it. What's going on, bro?
What up, though?
Not much. First thoughts on the episode?
I think this episode is pretty good. Again, we see things ramping up a little bit. I give it on a scale of 1 to 10. I give it I'm gonna say it's 7.5, man. 7.5. Some of it was predictable, but about 7.5.
Yeah, I probably say like 6.5, maybe 7. Somewhere,
maybe 7.
like you said, the joint got it's ramping up, but then at the same time, a lot of it got predictable. Like it was nothing. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was nothing in here on this episode that shocked me. Like, oh man,
there was only one thing that caught me off guard, and we'll get to that when it was only one thing, and we'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay, yeah, I don't think it was anything for me. Maybe once we get there, you say it might have been the same for me. So the episode synopsis says Meech and Terry prepare for the Stomping Ground launch party. Meech has a new love interest, and B. Mickey takes a major step in his relationship back in Detroit. The Flenory family gets surprising news. Meech considers new partners in St. Louis. So the episode kicks off, of course, as we've been saying. Every episode, we know now they're all going to kick off with them in Mexico up until we get the point of what caused the friction between them two. And Meech is taking a bath while Terry's getting dressed, which I think maybe they possibly at Loco's house. And during that process, they see a little kid hiding in the bushes. And Loco snatches up the little kid, thinking that he's a spy sent by the federales, as that happened to his brother, I believe he said.
Yeah, a friend, I believe.
Yeah, or a friend, yeah, that got unalived by them using the child as a spy. And so Loco snatches him up and takes him inside to figure out exactly who he is, where he's from. And of course, which we've been seeing, and I agree with Terry on this one, like, yo, we don't mess with kids. Now, granted, they in Mexico, but still, I'm with Terry on this one, man. Like, now we go a little bit too far. Like, everything is just getting out of hand. And of course, Meech goes right along with Loco and just like, let's at least figure out who he is, what he is, what's going on. And I'm just like, I'm with T on that one. Like, man, he a kid. Like, so, but I guess because of Loco's past, that's why.
And it's where they at too, so it's a little bit different. In America, you probably ain't got to worry about that. But in other places, man, these kids will take you out.
Yeah, no, that part,
real.
Yeah, that part is true. I've heard the stories, especially from people that's been overseas in the service and stuff. So I can kind of see it, but I was definitely with T.
I was with T, but I was with T. But if I was where from Loco from, I'll be with Loco.
Yeah, it probably was for me as well. So get the fast forward, of course, now in the present time with Meech and them and Atlanta. And he's getting all the group together to start to promote Purdy. So they are packaging all of Purdy's CDs as well as the flyers to start promoting Purdy as their brand new artist, singer turned rapper for their Stomping Ground record label. But back home in Detroit, while T is putting up money, he is with Markeisha and tells Markeisha that he had his people looking out for him. Looking out on her. And of course, she gives this whole story that she was basically doing what she had to do to look out for them, as he finds out that she was with, he finally finds out that she got the Isaac Connect from Boom, which she didn't tell him before, and that also she was hanging around, I forgot the officer's name.
Vince.
What was his name?
Vince.
Yeah, Officer Vince. To which found out Isaac got caught up in a not money laundering. I forgot, but we got locked up and it had nothing to do with him had nothing to do.
I thought it was like money laundering or embezzlement or something like
That's
that.
what it was, embezzlement. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he got locked up for embezzlement. But of course, she gave the whole little game. Now, this part right here, I could probably say I was shocked. I was shocked the way T dismissed it. I thought for sure he was going to fold. But although he did fold.
I'm about to say, because he did fold.
Although he did fold, but like at the beginning, like how he dismissed her at first. So I was like, okay, he kind of standing 10 toes down. But of course, as usual, like he been folding for her since day one. So, but just the way he was like, all right, bye. I was like, okay, well, damn.
I think it's something else to it. To be honest, man, I think he definitely don't trust her. But at the time, he just was just like, I probably might as well smash real quick. But he definitely don't trust
pretty much. That's pretty much what it is. Has he been trying for a hot minute? She was dismissing him, so he like, well, now she opening up, so I might as well go ahead. So back at the GM plant, Charles tells his boss that in a couple of weeks he's going to be going back out on the road on tour. And after telling his boss that, which pretty much pisses his boss off, his boss tells him, when you came back, you begged me to come back. I gave you countless hours, put you ahead of people and everything. And basically, like, this is how you do me. So, if it comes to a time again where, you get off of tour again or something goes wrong, don't come back. Which threw Charles off. And I was like, bro, like, he right. Like, what you expect?
They have it both ways, Charles.
Yeah, what you expect? Oh man. So here in the Flenory home, Nikki is laid up with none other than Worm, and T stops by the crib, and Nicole says, mom is away on a church retreat and Charles is working, so she decided to have herself a little party. She ain't think nothing was going to be going on, but she stops by the crib just to double check on Nicole, and in the process, as he scans the room, he ends up seeing some shoes that don't belong to Nikki.
He peeped the weed first, and then
he peeped that first. Like when you start smoking, then he peeped the shoes, and sure enough, he goes right in the closet and grab Worm. And I was thinking to myself, bro, of all the places, why did you hide in the closet?
First of all the places you probably could have been, why go to her home where her brothers lived at? Where her parents stay at, and you work for, that doesn't make any sense. You was asking to get caught.
Yeah, you was asking to get caught, for real. I don't even know, like, I guess probably, man, again, not thinking, probably listening to Nicole, oh yeah, nobody's going to be here, like Nicole told Terry, like, you don't even live here no more, so what you doing here?
Don't matter.
That's probably the whole thing, why he ended up getting caught. And man, he threw him down the stairs. I don't even know if we're gonna see Worm anymore the rest of this season for sure.
I saw them stairs coming for sure.
Yeah. Now he lucky it was T and not Meech, because if Meech had caught him, man, ain't no telling what Meech would have done.
I think Meech would have pushed him through the stairs.
Shoot, Meech probably might have threw him out the window or something, or whatever. And during the process, of course, Nicole, as we see, she's all acting out. She smacks T and tells T that she hates him for doing that. And T tells her straight up, like, the next time I catch him here, like, I'm gonna kill him straight up. So
hey, let me just say something, because let me get this out the way. T is not wrong. Okay, like nah. T is not wrong in no parts of this or anything like that. I think anybody in his situation, in his position, would have acted the same way. Nikki weren't way out of pocket. Way out of pocket.
Nah, he wasn't wrong. Wanted to try to warn Nikki and tell her, you're playing a dangerous game. Worm should already been smart enough to know not to even cross that line. Like,
he was already
on the street. Like, this is who you work for. You gonna cross that line. And then not only that, you ain't even get the proper, I'm not gonna say permission, but like, you ain't even approach. Yeah, you ain't even approach T and been like, hey, you know what? Although I'm sure T would have been like, hell nah, you gonna leave my sister alone, but at least you came to him.
At
Like,
least
both
have
of
a
y'all,
conversation, you know.
yeah,
That
at
would
least
be,
had the conversation, man to man. Both of y'all just sneaking around behind T back. Here we got Lamar here. Just this scene right here. I mean, I got it. Like they show him, like he's working out. You know, I guess releasing anger, wanting revenge. But I felt like this scene right here and the whole, like it served no purpose.
I don't think Lamar is serving a purpose at this point.
That's true. I think it's something else that's gonna happen to Lamar down the line.
It has to be, because right now he has just served, no purpose at all. We in what episode? This is episode 4?
Episode 5.
Episode 5. So we saw him in the first episode and episode 5.
Yep.
I don't think he served a purpose at all as of yet.
Nah, I don't think he has. But I just felt like this scene right here, like I get it, we showing that Lamar is back, but like they could have cut this all out. We could have just, which we hate to jump scenes, but we could have just got the scene right up when he came back to his cousin. So back at the diner, Charles is talking to Cecilia, and he basically says her like, hey, I'm going back on the road. You should come with me. But Cecilia ain't feeling it. Basically, in a sense, she just scared of Charles. Like, we haven't even talked about what you did to my ex-husband. And I'm with Charles on this. Like,
what you expect? He threw the first punch.
Yep. Like he said, he wasn't really forthcoming to having a conversation. So I did what I had to do. So I agree with Charles 100% on that.
100%. And I probably wouldn't even gave her an explanation. I probably just would have walked away.
Yeah. So
like, what?
I'm sure this is probably going to be the end of Charles and Cecilia as we know it. As after that, Charles just wrote it off and walked off. And after that, he goes to the pawn shop to go back to buy his guitar. And the pawn dude, man, I was like, damn, dude, shicey as hell. Like,
of course, but that's how they are, though.
Like, you that shicey, like, you gonna try to charge him double?
That's how they are.
What he sold it to you for, to what he pawned it to you for. Now he's trying to charge him double for it. Like, that's crazy. And in the process, he notices a ring down inside of the glass there, which he notices straight off the block that it's Lucille's ring, and it's the wedding ring that he gave Lucille, that which she pawned. And the pawn dude, he just going off talking about this fine lady came in.
Fine little red bone came through.
Yeah, that
he pulled up, but ain't no way I would have let that go.
And immediately he looks up and realized, like, oh damn, that's Charles' woman. So I think that right there, like, he was like, all right, I'm gonna sell him this guitar. Just go on ahead, get it out the way. And also another thing we starting to see, which I'm hoping, or maybe we'll get a little background, is we starting to see Charles anger more. Like, we haven't really seen like Charles anger, but this joint, like his anger now, like I wonder if it's something in his past that like he did, but now he's able to control the anger, but now it's all coming back out, like it's all unleashed. Because the way he looked at the pawn shop dude was looking at him like, yo, I'll jump over this counter right now.
Could be something to that, man, but society is testing him.
Yeah, he's getting tested. Once we get to that scene, we gonna see more Charles being tested this season after what happened on this episode.
Sure.
Wanda stops by the crib after speaking to Terry, and she finds out that she been in there being a little thotty. She been in there having a little bit too much fun. And Nicole's like, like, I'm grown, of course, as the usual. And as soon as she gets out of bed, immediately she throws up, which I already knew exactly what that was.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell if it was morning or whatever it was, but I was like, yep, now we're getting to, as we've been saying for multiple episodes, that she's pregnant. And Wanda inquires about her having her last period, which makes Nicole realize that she hasn't had a period in quite a while. Here we got Officer Hardy and Detective Bryant. And Hardy lets Bryant know that they end up arresting a stripper from Platinum Palace during a raid that was sweeping up for the Olympics, and he should go interrogate her to find out more about Duffy's character, his alias Don Greco or Don Greco. And he interrogates her, and of course, she wasn't about to fold at first. She wasn't about to fold until he pulled the file on her kids and basically told her, like, the same thing he told the lady from the car dealership, that, I'm gonna make your life a little bit hell till you give me what I want. And we already knew then once Brian does that they're just gonna fold, to which she did. Now we didn't see. You could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we saw the info she gave Brian. I think she just went on ahead and just started to work with Brian.
Yeah, we ain't see no info.
Yeah, we ain't see none of the info that she gave Brian. So back here at Meech crib, they're having a whole celebration to kick off Stomping Ground Records for Purdy's new song that is supposed to be played on the radio. So they're having a little quick celebration, and in the process, Tina introduces him to a guy named, I believe his name was
Yeah.
from California, and which I believe this is going to be the character that segues them out into Cali of this season. As we know, they do go to Cali this season, so I think this is going to be the guy that's going to be like the middleman that segue Meech and them out to Cali to start moving, as he says that, people out there don't have the bread to buy a certain amount of the Cali weed that he has. So that's basically here showing us the connection that this is going to be the person that's going to be that segue point. And after that, he meets with Duffy, who's there at the party, and Duffy pretty much tells him, like, yo, he got to get out of Dodge. Like, he bumped into Brian at the club. The heat is on him. He got to take care of some things, and after he take care of some things, he getting out of there and just getting out of the state. He going to lay low for a while. So, as they all get prepared to hear Purdy's new record on the radio, it doesn't get played, as we know Trail has blocked her song from the radio, and the radio DJ plays a new rapper or singer, which we didn't find out, but from Trail's label named, I believe his name was Damien. Yeah.
Yep.
Plays Damien, which has everybody so confused as they're trying to figure out why wasn't Purdy record played on the radio. So Meech and Terry goes to the radio station, talks to the DJ, and of course we found out they did a payola. As Meech said, we paid you a lot of money to pay Purdy's record, and the DJ informs them that as soon as we were about to play the record, we got a fax from Purdy's former label, which basically blocked her from her record get playing, as he owns her likeness, as he's invested so much money into it. So basically, like, he owns the name, all of that different type of stuff. So the DJ tells them that they need to go talk to Trail, to which they do, and they find out that they paid the money to get out the contract, but they didn't pay the money to basically own her rights.
Yeah.
And own her masters. And they find out that was Trail's plan all along, as he's trying to basically make them pay for Purdy twice. And we never saw what number that he wanted them to pay, as he wrote it down on a piece of paper. And he says, if you come back with a check, then Purdy is all yours, 100%, and we be squared away. So they find some type of underground casino where T is gambling to try to create some type of clean money so that they can write a check to give the Trail to get Purdy 100% out of her contract. And during the process, Meech leaves, as he has to go and have dinner. Matter of fact, no, not have dinner. He has to meet up with Loco. And T is there still trying to win some money, and he's talking to B Mickey, who is in St. Louis. And B Mickey tells him, basically gives him the information on why there is beef between Jay Pusha and the Moors, as we found out that Jay Pusha tried to move in on their territory and sell the weight from the last shipment, and that's why so much beef between those two. And also B Mickey asked T if he can go back home, but of course T is like, nah, the job ain't done. And B Mickey just gave him an ultimatum like, yo, I'm not missing my daughter's surgery, as he needs to get back to Detroit to be there at his daughter's surgery. So I was actually, at first I was thinking like T wasn't gonna let him and B Mickey was just gonna go. But as he said that, as soon as he said that, father to father, I knew for sure, like, yeah, I knew T was like
at that moment either. Like, what type of time you're on, T? You should know better.
Yep. So here we got Meech meeting with Loco, and Loco, I didn't think it was gonna happen this early, that we was gonna hear Loco tell Meech about what Jay Pusha did.
I did. Loco loyalty is to Meech. It's like Meech loyalty is to Loco.
Yeah, but I didn't think we was gonna get in the very next episode. I figured we probably won't get it to like maybe 2 episodes later after Jay Pusha done made some moves or something, and then Loco's like, yeah, this is what Jay Pusha did. But Loco lets Meech know, like, hey, your friend, St. Louis,
he's not your friend.
He's not your friend. He's not trustworthy. He tried to do a side deal with me, so he's no good. Basically, in a sense, like, you need to get rid of him. So
gotta clean the kitchen.
Yeah, gotta clean the kitchen. Now, matter of fact, I hate to jump scenes. I kind of want to ask you the question now, but I'll wait till we get to that scene before I ask you that question in reference to this about cleaning the kitchen. So Meech makes a call to none other than Sterl, and he tells Sterl that he needs to go check out the kitchen in St. Louis because there's some what did he say? I think he said
bad cooks or something. The cook can't follow instructions.
Yeah, the cook can't follow instructions.
He was like, use the young cook. He was like, there's a fire in the kitchen. He was like, nah, but in St. Louis, their kitchen a little spicy.
Yep, kitchen a little spicy.
Yeah.
I want to ask, but I'll wait till we get to that scene to ask about that. So, of course, back home at Meech, of course, he's having his dinner with Maria as he's whining the diner. We got a little bit of background on Maria as we found out that she's from New Orleans. So we've been saying it since Maria got introduced on the scene that this was going to be Meech's new love interest this season. I feel like since they're showing her this late, like this is season 4, I kind of feel like this is going to be the woman who was like this is Meech's mom in real life, Lil Meech's mom in real life. So I think this is who they're setting us up to see. This is his mom in real life. And while they're having dinner, Terry comes back and breaks up their dinner and tells them that they have to go into plan B in reference to Purdy. Now, the first time he said it, I didn't get it. But he was like, we got to go to plan B. I wasn't even thinking about Purdy. I thought he was talking about like something else in reference to like moving weight or something like that. But then it hit me once the scene came, like, oh, he, when he said plan B, because he didn't make enough money gambling to get clean money to give a check to Trail to get Purdy out of her contract. So, of course, they head slam over the Trail's crib, already tucked up in the crib, waiting for Trail to come through there. And Trail comes home along with his bodyguard. They already got the straps and everything.
So with the fancy magazine.
Thank you. I was going to point that out. I was hoping somebody caught that because I was thinking like, yo, now I could be wrong. And I know this is entertainment, but I was like, bro, I got a Gucci strap and a Gucci clip.
Like, what's up with that's crazy.
I was like, yeah, man. I was like, okay, now y'all kind of pushing it a little bit. I know this supposed to be, I was like, but y'all kind of pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, like, is that just to show that they got money like that? Or
I guess that's what it was. So we got Trail here looking like a little kid pouting, but he also looked scared. He looked scared to death. Because I think he started to notice, like, yo, these some real, like, they the real deal. Like, okay, you know what? I underestimated them. And they kind of Meech and Terry kind of like scare tactic him and kind of insinuate that they're going to take an award that he has sitting up on the mantle, and put it in the side of his head to make him sign the contract to release Purdy. And Of course, he just go ahead and oblige and signs the contract to give them 100% ownership of Purdy. Back at Meech's crib, Tina, Maria, and Purdy are having a discussion, and we found a little background on Purdy and how she even got introduced to Trail. As her foster family had her outside on the street corner singing. And if I remember correctly, Trail was the one who noticed her foster father was looking at her in a in a
way that wasn't appropriate.
Yeah, inappropriate way.
Yeah.
And so all she knew was Trail since day one, and that's why she was so loyal to Trail. And as they're sitting there smoking and reminiscing, Meech and T come back with the contract, and it shows that they 100% have Purdy out of her contract with Trail, and now she is 100% with Stomping Ground Records. Now, this surprised me.
This surprised me. This was the scene that surprised me.
Yeah, okay.
The only way it surprised me.
I did not see this coming, so
me either.
So we got Boom just up in Markeisha crib, just sitting there waiting for her, and Markeisha is just as shocked as everybody else is. They're like, yo, you home. Like, what you doing here? He didn't say nothing about how he got out, when he got out, nothing. I was hoping that they was going to touch on it a little bit of how he got out.
Mm-hmm.
But Boom ain't give none of that. Boom just got right into it. Boom was lit off the yak and it was just like, yeah, it's time to get into it. He ain't even wasting no time. Like, I've been waiting a long time for this.
Man, I think I got a reason why Boom got out. Yeah, I think I know a reason why he got. It's just too convenient.
Okay.
You thinking?
Yeah, I think you might be right.
It's just too convenient. The way that whole thing happened, it was just too it was just too convenient, man.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that till just now.
He told on somebody.
Yeah, and I think that person is Isaac.
Yeah. He told the perfect scenario for him to get out. It was perfect, you know.
Dang, I didn't even think about that, yo.
But yeah, you're just way too convenient, man. It's like everything happened the way it happened, you know, whatever. He already had an issue with T to begin with, you know, so it was the perfect storm for him.
Dang, I didn't even think about that. Yep, he probably for sure, and that's probably how Isaac got caught up.
Yep.
He probably set that whole joint up.
Yep.
Was like, gave it to Markeisha, like, yeah, do this.
Yep.
Knowing the entire time that like it was all Isaac. Shoot, he probably got people out there that's been watching Markeisha.
Probably.
And know that she's still rocking with Terry. We see him next episode, so we're gonna find out more for sure on how he got out. Now, see, this is what I mean. They could have just showed this whole scene instead of showing, like, you know, Lamar, you know, working out. But I guess they just needed to show that he was back. So Lamar rolls up on his crazy ass cousin who's in there flirting with a dead body. Brought in there and drinking. I think he was drinking yak or Remy. One of the two. He in there flirting with a whole dead person, and he rolls up on it. He rolls up on his cousin, and he basically tells his cousin, like, you know, I need to stop this bleed, and I need you to help me out, you know. So his cousin, of course, helps him out, tells him it's infected, you know, does his usual, stitches him up, and all that different stuff. And in the process, Lamar tells him, you know, like, before he took a hit or after he took a hit of the crack pipe that Meech made him smoke, he can remember hearing his cousin's voice and telling me. So basically he set him up, and of course his cousin tried to lie, say, nah man, you was high, you know, you don't know what you talk about. And Lamar's like, nah, don't do that. Like, you know, as well as I forgot also, Lamar asked him, you know, why you didn't come to visit me, you know, when I was getting out of rehab. And his cousin gave, of course, another lie about the car being broke down and all this different other stuff.
Nah, he said like a 10-car pileup too, and he had a lot of embalming fluid that he had to do, and he also told him that he had to make amends, and apologize to his cousin. Then he told him that you owe me an apology now.
Yep. So you make amends, and which caught his cousin off guard, and I didn't think it was gonna happen like right then and there, but I knew. I was like, nah, and Lamar ain't that damn forgiving. I was like, he gonna catch him slipping.
Nah,
and of course,
I knew it was gonna happen.
Which he did. He let his cousin let his guard down. Was like, all right, man, my bad, I did it. Is what it is. Let's move forward. And Lamar like, man, yeah, you all good. Then Lamar knocks him out, drags him straight to the incinerator, throws his cousin right in the incinerator, and basically barbecued his ass pretty much. And so we know that's the end of his cousin, and we know that now Lamar is back on his old path, and he's going to be on the revenge tour for the rest. I'm pretty sure probably for the rest of these episodes, unless he gets unalived or he gets locked back up. So here at the hospital, with B, Mickey, and Aisha, along with Charles and Lucille, they are waiting to hear back from the doctor involving B, Mickey, and Aisha's daughter as she's having surgery. Here is where Charles brings up the fact that he found out about Lucille pawning the ring. I can't even remember what Lucille said, but they didn't go into a.
She said she ain't had no more use for it.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah, that's right. She said she ain't had no more use for it. And during the process, before they could get into a whole thing, they say a whole prayer, which to me it seemed like Lucille was trying to get out of that whole awkward conversation with Charles anyway. And they go into a whole prayer, and after that prayer, the doctor comes out and tells them that the surgery went well and everything is fine with their daughter. And after, as they go in to visit their daughter, B, Mickey gets down on one knee and proposes to Aisha. That says that he wants to make sure they've been through everything, and he wants the family to be together all as one, and he wants to make sure that it's right after everything that they've been through. And he wants Mama Lucille to officiate the wedding. And after that,
I got a question. At what point, when does Charles go off on Lucille?
We probably gonna see it. I think now after this injury, we probably gonna see it for sure.
Yeah, it needs to happen. Like you making them pay for the same mistake over and over again, and y'all ain't even together. That's kind of like, come on now. He was just asking the question, like, yeah, what about Nikki though? What if you want to pass it down to Nikki or whatever? And she came back with a smart rebuttal, things like that. It's just the way she talked to him. It's just nasty work.
Yeah, nasty work. And of course, he tried to have the conversation here again, and she's like, not right now. So after Mickey proposes, Charles says, I'm going to go back to the factory to tell everybody, which I found hella weird, but I was like, okay. I was like, you telling that? Why aren't you telling the man business that again, that he proposed or whatever? But at the same time, I'm thinking maybe he was just going back to tell everybody that B, Mickey daughter is fine. So while he's back at the plant, I'm assuming that he's training a new staff person, as he's telling him to make sure that he always wear gloves, carry the engine blocks this way. And while they are carrying the engine block, Charles' boss yells out something which temporarily distracts him, and the guy drops a whole engine block on his hand. And I was like, well, ain't no more tour now.
Not at all.
I don't know. And he can't work. So the only thing I could think of is that he about to get workman's comp or something for a while. Because since he has no use for his hands, like there's nothing.
Whole V8 on you.
Shoot, it should have been more than just broken.
Yeah, it's probably shattered. He dropped a V8 motor on you. Yeah,
he dropped that joint like straight on there.
It looked like it was in between, like his bones was in between two metal pieces. Yeah,
the way he was holding his hand, he was like, I think it's broken. I'm like, nah, bro, that's more than broke. Like, you might not have a hand after this.
Yeah.
So back in the Flenory house, Nicole is taking the pregnancy test. And of course, which we all knew, she finds out that she is pregnant. And now the reality hits her that she is pregnant, and immediately she goes into what about her scholarship, everything that she worked for, all of that stuff. Like reality finally set in, and Wanda, being an adult, basically asked her like, what you gonna tell Breeze? And immediately she puts the baby on Breeze and says he's the only one that we had sex 3 months ago. And I'm like, 3 months ago,
I
like
happy with the 3.
I would like if that's the case, you would be 3 months pregnant right now.
For sure.
You would be showing somewhat. Like, nah, I don't know if that's that. Yeah, I got a feeling like that's worms, but I think that you're gonna put it on Lil Rodney and tell him just to save face, like, it's yours. But Wanda consoles her. Wanda's just like, okay. And Wanda just consoles her as she breaks down and she finds out that she is now 100% pregnant. So back in Atlanta, Detective Bryant has a lead on Duffy and tells Officer Hardy about it. Tells him if he wants to ride. And during this process, we got Meech and Duffy as as Duffy is about to leave town. He tells him and lets him know like he got everything taken care of. He also gives him some money to help out to take care of his pops while he's gone. And in the process, Officer Bryant and Hardy and them roll up on him. Now, my question is this. This is the part I didn't understand about this scene was he said he had a lead on him.
Mm-hmm.
How did, and we know folks who probably gonna leave comments like it's a TV show, but it's still like, how did they exactly know where he was going to be? Now I can see if it was just Hardy and Bryant that just happened to roll up on him, but you could tell, but they called for backup because when they tried to reverse, another cop car like undercover was there. So I'm just trying to figure out like, how did y'all know exactly where he was?
We never know, man. I don't know if that was a conversation that he had with the stripper or what to know exactly, or how they even got the lead. We'll never know. It's just
it's one of the things like
Brian and these cigarettes, but we'll never know.
Yeah, so it's off camera. So they go on this huge high speed chase, and during the process, they almost get away, but Duffy wasn't looking, and end up flipping the whole BMW over. And they both take off on foot, and during that chase, Duffy was a little bit injured, so it kind of slowed him down to where Meech gets away and hides in the back of a pickup truck between some barrels, and Duffy gets caught, and then they also beat the brakes out of Duffy for running. So, man, I was hoping Duffy didn't get caught, but I saw it. The writing was on the wall. As soon as I saw him limping, I said, yeah, Duffy about to get caught. It is what it is. I said either that or I was about to say either that or he about to get shot.
Well, I knew he was gonna get caught, and then they was gone. Of course, immediately beat his ass because that's just what red dogs do. Yeah. So kind of just the right was on the wall. This one I expected.
Yeah, right was on the ball. So back at the crib, Meech is, he distraught, upset that Duffy got pinched. So he's smoking, and Maria comes over, and Maria basically gets him to open up, as she says, I already know what it is that you do. I don't care nothing about, I don't care about none of that. Just tell me what's going on. I'm here for you, which we already knew where this was going, and that was going to be a whole love scene. I saw that coming immediately.
I ain't mad at you, Meech. I'm proud of you.
I was like, yeah, here it comes. Writing's on the wall. It is what it is. I was like, just go ahead, just show us, get it so with, so we get back up to it. But again, that's what ends up happening as she finally gets Meech to open up, and he tells her everything about what happened to Duffy and that type of stuff and how he's feeling about it. So here, back at the club at Platinum Palace, Purdy is getting ready to go on stage to debut her new song and perform her new song. And while she's waiting to perform, we see that Trails Bodyguard is there in the club as well, which still bogs me. Like, how nobody from the whole BMF clique, nobody saw him. Like, he
don't
sticks
know who
out.
he is.
Like, he sticks out like a sore thumb. Like,
Big, black, ugly, tall.
right? Like, I'm like, dude,
He got like a lock chain or something like that, or something.
Yeah, I was like, dude, like 6'4". How nobody from y'all camp saw this dude sitting over at the bar. So, but as he's sitting over there at the bar, Meech is on the phone with Sterl, to which he finds out that the kitchen is hot. Mm-hmm. So my question, which is what I was going to ask earlier, is, was he asking Sterl, was somebody like, were they cutting down the quality of the dope? Or is Sterl saying like, yeah, Jay Pusha making moves behind your back?
You know what? I think it was more so like Jay Pusha was making moves behind his back. That's what I think it was. And he also mentioned that the junior chef was no good too. Now I can't remember who the junior chef was. Was it his brother? His brother name is Sean, right?
Nah, that was his right hand man. His brother name is Carter.
Oh, right. His brother name is Carter. And he was saying that that's no good too. So I think it was more so that he know that they was making moves, behind it. I think he found out they was making moves behind him.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Okay, now that makes sense, because I kept thinking like, because the way he kept saying like, the cook in the kitchen, like he messing up the recipe. I'm thinking like, I'm like, Jay Pusha taking the work and stepping on it some more to spread it out so he could make more bread off of his stuff. And Meech ain't like that he was stepping on the product. That's how I took from it. But now that you said that,
I mean, that could be it though. Now I'm thinking about it, that could be it. But I thought maybe he was just making moves, because I mean, it was more going so with it just seemed like what they was doing with Loco is, because it was so pure, that's how they was getting it off so quick. And it wouldn't make no sense for him to step on it. But again, because he's under Meech and he's stretching it to make more bread, that makes sense too.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think you're right. That's probably exactly what it is. He found out about Jay Pusha making moves. Terry comes out to talk to Meech before he gets off the phone, and Meech is like, nothing, something we got to handle later. Let's just go ahead and let's have the celebration about Purdy's record. And of course, we seeing Purdy getting high again, as we've seen her getting high, as she, I guess, wants to take the edge off before she does her performance. And she's in there, Platinum Palace. She asks for Meech and the whole BMF crew to come on stage, and while she's performing, she ends up getting shot by none other than Trail's bodyguard, which I saw it coming when he pulled out. I was like, it's gonna be Purdy. Yeah. Now the question is Purdy gone, or is she still with us, as they basically did not show anything in the trailer for the next episode in reference to
Purdy? We getting far from the story though, from the actual story of BMF. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we getting far from it. It's something.
It's something.
We getting too. I think we getting too far from. Like, at first, I was under the belief, because, again, last time I brought it up, it was DeMarcus who had said something about Purdy representing Blue Division, and I was like, I don't believe in that, because the timeline is just off. Yeah, it's just way off.
Yeah, timeline.
And maybe you can embellish a little bit. And some of it is fiction and some of it is real. But this right here, I just think it's too far off the storyline.
It's too far off, because.
But to answer your question, I think she's gone.
Yeah, I think that she probably is gone for good, or it's to the point where she's out of the game or something. But I think like you, I think Purdy's gone. It's a wrap for her, and I hate that they even did this whole storyline with her, because now it was like it was kind of pointless. Like, you did all this, they're getting this all together, and then boom. But I guess they did that to show like They tried to go legit, and now they got to go back to the streets. I guess that's the only way of showing.
That's what I was thinking, or maybe it was just showing but we already saw that they had it.
Yeah, but like you said, that's like we've been saying since episode 1. The timeline is so off that, like I said, we saw last episode 95 Source Awards, but we know BMF didn't even start doing the whole music thing until the 2000s, and we still have yet to get into the 2000s yet. So once again, I have to reiterate, this is why this cannot be the last season at all. It can't be, because we have not gotten into the 2000s yet. We haven't even gotten into see the characters that played the adult Meech and the adult Terry, except for, the flashbacks from last season,
right?
When we get caught and locked up. So
right,
that's why I don't think this is the last season. So on the next episode, Terry's making his own side moves. He's telling Hoop, I make the moves. So he's keeping a lot of stuff from Meech as far as making moves. And I'm sure Hoop is questioning him on why he's doing that. But
he started messing up the recipe for sure.
He starts messing up the recipe. Yep, he's the one that's
he did. He started messing with the recipe.
So next episode, we know for sure. I think there is where we're about to start seeing the beginning of the whole BMF and the 263. It was 263, right?
Yeah, it's the numbers on the phone. It lines up with BMF. So whatever the numbers on the phone that lines for Make BMF, that's what it is.
Yeah, so I think now this is where we're about to start seeing that whole where it's going to be Meech's crew and it's going to be Terry's crew, as Terry's making moves without telling Meech. He's keeping secrets from him, which he stated in the trailer. And even here, as Meech is in St. Louis talking to Jay Push's right-hand man, his right-hand man say, you didn't talk to Terry? And he's like, what you mean talk to Terry? So we know, again, this is where Terry, he's making moves again, trying to show he's the big boss, and he's doing it without Meech's will, without telling Meech. I guess since Meech been doing the same thing to him, this is going to be like his little get back. And Meech is here sitting down with Kia, so we get Saweetie's character back this season in this episode, as we saw in last season. And he tells her that he wants to try to put together a union, to a peace treaty in a sense, so that everything in St. Louis will calm down and not be as hot. So I think he's going to try to put together some type of peace treaty between the Moors and Jay Pusha, so that everything can flow through the pipelines correctly. But at the same time, he ends up getting a shootout. I'm still trying to figure out who he getting the shootout with. I'm wondering if it's the Moors decided to, because that's the same shirt.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see, was that blood or something splattered on his hoodie? I can't really tell.
That might be. I think you're right, because right here you can't see it, but there, yeah, that might be blood. So I'm wondering if he's going to meet the Moors by himself, and they decide to double cross him and try to take him out altogether. Since
pulls up,
that could be, but I'm just wondering as to if he was setting together a peace union. Of course he's doing it because of the moves that Jay Pusha has made. Somebody shows up to the point where, somebody shows up. Maybe, you know what? Maybe you are right. Maybe Jay Pusha didn't tell him, and shows up and tries to take out the Moors while Meech is there doing the peace, doing the peace union. Because in this scene right here, Jay Pusha tells Meech that, if we take out the Moors, we could put the north side and the south side of St. Louis all under the BMF umbrella. So, that Jay Pusha that's his whole goal, is to eliminate the Moors, and we see him roll up on the Moors, and they have a whole shootout. And here we finally see that Mama Lucille finds out that Nicole is pregnant. I think, and if y'all watched our prediction video, I believe that Mama Lucille is probably going to overhear the convo, either that or Breeze ends up telling her, because in this scene when she walks up and says, so when was you gonna tell us, that you're pregnant? Nikki got this whole face like, like, wait a minute, how you know? So I'm wondering, or maybe Wanda told her, or maybe she found the pregnancy test.
Yes.
But that's probably what it is. She probably ended up finding that pregnancy test.
That's what I'm thinking too, because if Nikki wasn't smart enough to not have Worm in the same house,
yeah,
she could very well not be smart enough to get rid of the pregnancy test, to burn it, to something.
Yeah, and Lucille finds it in the trash, but don't say nothing until this moment in time, which I believe is at B Mickey's and Aisha's wedding reception. But in this photo, we do know that Nikki is talking to T in this scene before Lucille rolls in. And then, of course, we got T and Meech going at it again. And Meech tells Terry that, I got in the game to keep this family together. And T tells him, we could have did without you being in the family. So I think this is where they're going to butt heads, where Terry making his own little dealings and stuff out there in St. Louis.
I'm aware next week.
So yeah, so that's it, man. Please drop your likes, your comments, as well as your predictions under this video, so we can see what y'all thinking, interact with y'all and whatnot. Before we wrap this up, Jack, you got anything else?
I got a question for you. When are we supposed to get the break?
That's a good question. I don't have a clue, because I'm gonna have to do some work on that, some research on that, because they kept saying we were supposed to get the break last weekend for the 4th of July, but we got the new episode, because I saw a lot of articles that was saying it was going to be a break for the 4th of July weekend. But
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we got the episode, so I'm not sure. Like I said, I'll do some more research. We'll probably post it up, like I said on the last episode. I don't know what it is, but Starz is being very, very secretive with BMF this year. I'm guessing because of the whole thing with 50, and it's going to be the last season and whatnot. So they are barely giving like any type of information on BMF this season. They're giving it out like little bits at a time. So, but once we find out, like I said, for sure, we'll definitely post it. If you haven't already, make sure to stop by and go see our prediction video on episode 6. And we will catch you next week for episode 6 of Review and Recap.